Any Man United fans here? Manchester United? 1, 2. For me, as long as there are no Liverpool fans here, I'm quite happy. What is he wearing? What shirt is he wearing? Cam 5. What is Cam 5 wearing? Oh, yeah, he's Liverpool, yeah, man. Jeez. That's an Arsenal jersey.
It is 7 p.m. and you are back with the Kopiko Purple League at the official tournament arena, the Sports Arena Sentosa. Welcome back. It's the second half. My name's Jeevan Savanathan, sitting with me in the commentary box. Donald Spears. Don, good to see you as always. And what a tie we have coming up today. This is tie 2 of this match day. Of course, each match day made up of 3 days so that all of these 12 clubs can come along and play each other. And as you can see, half of them have already played their 6th match, and that's what the table looks like at the start of it. Moa City played just this afternoon, and it was another big victory for them. I think it was 15-5 in the end. Saw the likes of Kento Momota, Taisu Ying, and of course, Chao Mei Kwan and the rest of them just deliver another bashing. Now, this is our tie here, Serdang versus Cheras, and of course, the reason we're saying it's such a great tie is because, well, there's a lot of good matchups, as you can see. Tan Jiawei versus Mohamed Hafiz Hashim, that's going to be good. Go Jinwei is probably the player that's impressed me the most on. And she's now got a stiffer opponent in Febi Anguni.
Yes, this is going to be a real test for Go Jinwei. She overcame her inexperienced opponent in her last match, but now Febi will be a much more difficult test for her.
And we will get to that match, obviously, as it turns up. But it should be a very tactical affair, being Indonesian badminton, playing the lines and the baselines, seeing how Go Jinwei deals with that. First up, though, we've got Tan Jiawei and Mohamed Hafiz Hashim, and even before that, our on-court MC JDs introducing the teams, which we'll let him do, and have a chat with the managers.
Said Akbar Shah. Pia Zebediah Bernadette. Marcus Gideon. Zakri Abdul Latif. Muhammad Hafizi Hashim. Febi Anguni. Muhammad Hafiz Hashim. Coached by Roslyn Hashim. And your manager, Rezal Hussein. Now let's bring on the home side, Serdang BC. our captain, Tan Kian Meng. Tan Yip Jun. Jia Yi Jia. So Wu Yin. Sanatasa Saniru. Sim Go Cheng. Chang Yi Jun. Go Jinwei. Tan Jiawei. Coached by Andy Korbakar. And your manager, Ong Yu Ha. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, the two teams in this Kopiko Purple League tie. Cheras BC and Serdang BC.
So our two teams out on court for this tie. And Donald and myself are about to watch 6 fantastic badminton ties. And if you're thinking, hold on, that's a bit different, well, there's a few things that are a bit different with the Kopiko Purple League, and we'll get to those as we look at the team lineups. Very strong for the teams. They have, like all the other teams, boosted themselves up, of course, and managed by Ong Yu Hok for Serdang and Reza Hossein for Cheras. And I think we're about to go down on court and hear what they have to say before they face up against each other.
All right, we're down here with the managers once again before the start of this tie. Let's speak to Serdang BC boss Ong Yu Hok first. Now, you need a very, very big win to get out of the bottom 4. Do you think that the team that you have, that you've put together today, do you think they can give you that big win?
I think today we will have a good fight because both of them are quite balanced. So it's either way. It won't be a big win or big lose. It's 50-50. So I think that we will give our best to win, you know.
If it's 50-50, where do you think your wins will come from?
I think we will be coming from one men's singles and one men's ladies singles, and also try to get some few points from doubles, you know. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ong Yu Hok, boss of Serdang BC. Now over to Rizal Hussein from Cheras BC. The top 4 technically not out of reach. You had a close win, a very, very close win against Nusa Jaya the other day. What are your thoughts on your club's games average at the current moment right now in the standings?
Well, we've been doing quite well for the first few games, but then we've had a little bit of upsets. So I think that's what's been holding us back. So we're hoping to overcome that.
So I'm sure there's been a lot of things happening behind the scenes. Where have you been working on? Where are the improvements going to come from?
I think our weaknesses is mainly on the mixed doubles and the second men's doubles. So I think that's what we've been focusing on for the past few days.
Thank you very much. May the better team win. Managers, shake hands one more time before we start. Over to you, the Ibercore commentary box. Let's start the matches.
Well, it's another interesting insight, as we always get from the managers before the match, and actually throughout the match as well, as to how they prepare for things and how they get ready. And it is as close as JD was talking about. Cheras currently in 7th after 5 games, 5 match days, sorry, and that's with 55 won, 63 lost. So it's a -8 average for them. And Serdang just in the bottom 4 in 9th place with 44 won, 66 lost. That's -22. So really the onus is on Serdang, but they can still qualify for the Champions Challenge. That's what the top 8 of the 12 will qualify for, and that's happening in Genting Highlands on February the 5th as a post-season event. For Cheras, they are roughly about 20 games off moving into the top 4. Not too much of an ask if you think of some of the big wins that we've already seen. And as the teams have been strengthening, and I can tell you now, there are 13 nations that are now competing in the Kopiko Purple League, the first season, and there have been more and more players not just linked. It's not like football, Don, where you just hear about it, but they're actually turning up. Jana Jorgensen's going to be here soon. Kenta Momoto, of course, started today. Kenichi Tago started last week. It's turning into a rolling badminton extravaganza, isn't it?
Yes, it's brilliant to see the big names arriving and bringing a lot of class and talent with them, and even more fascinating to see the younger players pit their wits against them. And I mean, So Woi Yik is a good example of a young player, youth player who went up against Tago and really gave a very good account of himself.
That's right.
And today we're now going to see Tanjia Wei with he's had some experience already in the Purple League, but he's up against the big test in Mohamed Hafiz Hashim.
Big test, get it, all right. He's a very big test indeed, probably one of the taller players in the league for sure.
Yeah.
Now, you look at that, 1,258, that's his ranking, Tanjia Wei, up against the world number 42. It's the kind of matchup that you'll only ever find at the Kopiko Purple League. That's why it was set up, and you didn't get to see the big screens earlier just before every match. It says who will be Malaysia's next superstar. That's the ultimate aim of this league in the end, is to unearth some talent. We've already seen the likes of Go Jinwei, Chow Mei Kwan take naturally to the big stage, the big scene.
Yes, and it is a young team from Serdang that Ong Yu Hok has fielded, so they're going to have to rise to the occasion. But we've seen signs Go Jinwei, also Chang Yi Jun, they can play badminton. So for them, it's how quickly can they get used to this big stage and figure out how to beat their more experienced opponents.
Now, quite interestingly, of course, Serdang were in action on Sunday. That's where we first got to see Go Jinwei, and she was a 3-0 winner over Berenta. Remember, so yeah, she has got a much harder opponent today with Fabian Guni, but also no Li Jianyi and Lim Zhenting, who pulled off that massive win against Go Vishem and Cheng Tanji on Sunday. They're not in the lineup today. I'm assuming that would be down to an international conflict. They probably moved off to another tournament, but their spot, which was third in the lineup on Sunday, has been replaced by Chang Yi-jun and Sim Go-jeng, who are now, of course, in fifth. Oh, sorry, in the last match. So it's going to be the new pairing of Tan Yip-jun and Cha Yi-ji.
Yes, and interesting to see Tan Kian-ming pairing with Sanatasa Center in the mixed doubles.
That is going to be interesting indeed, because
of course Tan Kian-ming having a great success, or at least fighting games in his singles matches so far.
But they were all games where he needed to control the whole of the court, so it's a question as to whether any partner would be able to work with him. Ready to get underway here. Him switching in the umpire chair, Ian Spear in the service charge area. Mohamed Hafiz Hashim. For Cheras in the black and yellow against Tanjia Wei for Serdang in the blue and floral. And not surprisingly, very short point to kick it all off. And right now, just a bit too much power coming from the baseline from Mohamed Hafiz Hashim for Tan to deal with.
Yeah, Tan making perhaps the mistake of lifting to Hafiz Hashim, who started all his games typically in booming fashion, trying to score points quickly with hard smashes. Better defense there, much better defense. That's got a point for Tan.
But happy with that.
I wonder if Tan will adapt his strategy, stop trying to lob his taller opponent.
Yeah.
Make him move around the court a little bit more, where we've seen Hafiz a little bit vulnerable.
Well, he's going to have to pick up his game, of course. 11-point games for these games that make up the 6 matches, in every tie. They can pass very quickly indeed. We've seen 3-minute games, 4-minute games, especially in the doubles. It's much better from Tan. Keeping it a good general height over the net, but there's that drop shot. He loves to play that drop shot. It works.
Good positioning from Hafiz. He didn't have to step far to get in the position to take that shot, and a lovely cross-court drop from him.
Yep, irretrievable. Well, that's a good idea, to keep Hafiz on the defensive. Play the lifts behind him Of course,
It's
running
gone
the
in.
risk, yeah.
That's a much better lift or drive or whatever you want to call it from Tan, just to push to the back of the court, but not too high. Just finding its range.
And as I said,
This
just
would have been
making
on the backhand side there.
making it land just behind Hafiz, so it's a little bit more difficult to get into that really fluid smash action that he has. But he does run the risk, of course, of running it long.
Service over, 5-2.
But good to see a plan, good to see a policy, good to see a strategy in action. And that drop wasn't quite the quality of the one we saw before, but it was followed up by a smash of his usual standard.
Yeah, just Hafiz changing the side of the play has led to a slightly weaker lift from Tan, and able to be dispatched.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yes.
That was fantastic.
Great.
Well done.
Happy with that.
Daring shot to play.
Hafiz has seen a lot of points in his
Oh, look at
long
that.
career, but still you can catch. Still he gets
Kopiko.
caught with the deception.
World-class drop that was.
Oh, great turn.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yes, that was
Brilliant backhand.
surprising backhand turn of, again, changing the side of the play, cross court.
Yeah,
Very quick hands.
look at that.
Actually, his backhand has really impressed me.
Well, that backhand had the qualities of a forehand. It was that right height over the net, can be smashed back for a start, and had enough pace on it, which is a difficult thing to get with backhand flicks, of course, because your wrist just doesn't move that way. It's not meant to happen. That's why a lot of players, in the singles especially, favor round the head smashes, because they don't have to use a backhand. And I think we were talking just before the match about how there's a perception in some areas of the world how badminton isn't the most powerful sport, isn't the most physical sport, but it's a different dynamic that you're looking at, and what you're looking is controlled power. It's the ability to go from soft to fast, and from slow and rhythmic games to absolutely all-out reflex games by the way the rackets work and the shuttle works.
Yeah, it's difficult to sometimes see, in especially players like Hafiz who move so
Yeah.
freely and easily on the court. But the physical conditioning needed to be a badminton player is exceptionally high. I mean, this is hours and hours of physical training alone these players put in, even the youngsters. And
then you get to technical training after that.
so
That's
many
exactly how you can play all the
lovely
shots.
cross-court shot there from Tan to bring him up to 7-8.
He's been doing really well.
On the
What
serve.
we've been talking about, this is he's been doing extremely well, and that drop he knows works for him. But it's not just that. Obviously, it's a lot of sports. It's they're very forward moving, in that you move one way. It's a territory
Yes.
advantage. This is
Correct.
lateral. This is a
It's the changes of direction which are so tiring, and that also puts huge forces on the
on your
body as well.
ankles as well, and
Everything, yes, yes.
so you do really have to be in the best condition.
And it's difficult to explain, but you can try yourself with half an hour on the
just
badminton
go for
court and see how long you last.
Funny enough, a lot of people that do try it blame it on the weather. They blame it on the environment, say, oh, it was too hot, but it wasn't too hot. You can play anywhere around the world. In fact, go to Denmark. They play a lot of badminton in Denmark. It's not hot there at all. Oh, what
at
a
that.
great shot.
He gets it.
He was so close, but once again, from the world 1,258, we're seeing a gutsy display with clenched fists. This could be the biggest game he's played in a while.
It was a wild deception shot from Hafiz, who did it at a key point to
Yeah, game
give
point.
himself game point.
So,
First game won by
in the
Cheras
same way, you can say that
11-7.
I'm very happy that Tanja Wei is unhappy with his shots, but maybe his ranking and his age, that might work against him in the long run. Cool, calm, and composed as always, Hafiz Hashim, and he takes the first game in 7 minutes. 11-7. Now, he didn't manage to catch that drop shot twice. That's interesting. But that was really the only kind of angle that Tan had into Hafiz's game there. And if we look at exactly the strength of the game that Hafiz was playing, these are his clear winners. nicely spread out around the court. And what, as we were saying yesterday, Don, what this implies is the movement of his opponent to get to those. If he couldn't get to those, then you can imagine where he was running.
Yes, and Tan has been a junior player for some time now, and I think one of the biggest differences between elite players and junior players is really the power and the smash. And it's difficult to generate the forces if you're a young player coming up, but even you're not used to the defensive requirements as well. So to Tan's credit, he's done very well in responding to what Hafiz has thrown at him. So if he can keep that up and perhaps try to capitalize more on the movement,
well,
Hafiz catch him unawares.
The cross-court drop left to right seems to work for him. He might try and angle that into his game. Right now, pretty much everything he clears to the baseline is coming back at him just like that, with interest. So it's definitely a mid to forecourt game that will win him something. Whether he can take a game back for Serdang, we'll have to wait and see.
Nice attacking phase from Mohamed Hafiz.
Yeah, picked it up a bit.
A cross-court smash quickly followed up. Good pressure.
Again, in this league system, the best thing you can do in each of these matches that make up the tie for your club is win 3-0. Of course, ideally 11-love. We almost saw one of those yesterday, but we didn't. And the worst thing you can do is lose 3-2. So you're still giving 2 games back to your club for the greater aim of a league position at the end of January, which is when the season will end, the inaugural Kopiko Purple League season. This is round 6 of 11. The second day of action in round 6, match day 6. Both players trying to get the attacking angle, and it's going to be a really good shot that does it. Hafiz is producing them at the moment. At will. Was that it?
Let's try. No,
No, it was
trying the.
But there were 3 shots in the last 5 he played in that rally, which were definitely
Trying the
meant
fancy
to.
cross court there, not working out this time.
But they nullified each other for a while. They were both standing mid-court. You would have expected Hafiz to kill it, but he never had a shot that was high enough to put that smash in. He seems, well, a little less comfortable with, because of his height, working from mid-court. You've got to get down and you've got to kind of really pull the pushes. He did it very well there.
And yeah, Hafiz was in good position to respond to those jabs from Tan.
Yeah, he's taking longer to win the points, which is also good. But he has a great backcourt game, so you can't lift to him. As we proved just there, if you fire mid-court drives to him, they can come back. So really, I am again going to put my vote down for the cross-court, which has been unanswered from Hafiz twice. That might be the angle Tan can use. Remember, it's 11 points, so if he just wins 3 or 4 in a row, he's got a good chance at changing things around. Now that might be trouble. There you go, 2 of those round the heads I was talking about earlier. Much more control and power on them than using the backhand.
Great.
Well done.
Slice drop down the line. Just surprised Hafiz.
Beautiful slice.
Even though
drop
he
down
was
the
on the
line,
right
yeah.
side of the court. Just great hand technique. Last
So,
minute change the direction.
Great. Well, so we've seen a mid-court shot that works. We've seen a forecourt shot that works. If he had a power smash to the baseline, that would really help. Oh, he's being pushed around now.
Yeah, we've seen that in this second game. Hafiz is really controlling Tan very well. Something
But
in
maybe
the
not as forcefully as that. I think he was controlling it, but in a gentler way. That was really 3 or 4 very difficult shots to return.
Hafiz is just pulling his opponent around the court, just making him play all the different parts of the court. And for some reason, all of Tan's responses, Hafiz is dealing with very, very comfortably. Sometimes, in order to put your opponent off position, you need to take a risk and flick one cross court. But at the moment,
Yep, a shot that changes defensive attack.
Hafiz is finding it very easy to anticipate his opponent.
5-2.
I think Tan was probably, like the rest of us, just questioning that for a second. It was right at him, but...
He's, of course, very tall player, so great advantage for single serve.
That's the element which Hafiz has that Tan doesn't at the moment, and it's won him a good few points. Hafiz currently 5-1 up in the smash category. Also, we've been talking a lot about unforced errors this week. He's at international class, 3 so far into the second game, and Tan, to his credit, 5. So only 8 points given away of the 26, 27 so far.
Well, we're seeing a pattern now where Hafiz is controlling the rally, just working the opening, and his opponent tiring and not got enough strength on the wrist to.
And this is training.
Hafiz in danger.
What we're seeing there, though, those 3 strokes that Hafiz played to get that point, is the stuff you get from training, the stuff you get from being part of the national setup and being part of people watching your game and making it better, and they realize that if you can catch people in these patterns, 3 shots, 4 shots, then you know it almost becomes muscle reflex in a sense. You just go through the motions. Your opponent will go where they're supposed to go, and you'll get the point. That's how they can do such confident movements around the court. So the unforced error total, I think, will be going up definitely. It's not going to stay at 5-4.
I think Tan needs to find a way to attack more in open play. He's been trying to play a controlling game, and Hafiz has coped very well with it. So he needs to get some
more than cope with it.
Tighter drops and take a chance more often with some smash, and see if that will unbalance his opponent. But nothing at the moment is really going Tan's way.
Of course, Hafiz would be expected to deliver 3 clear points from his match. He's on course for that right now as he closes in on the second game. Game point here. Tan, I'm sure, would have been charged with doing the best he can. Ong Yi-Hok has always said it's an experience building process.
Second game, 4-5, Cheras BC 11.
At halfway spot during the season, it is, I think, safe to say that a lot of the clubs and managers now know, well, their position in the table and where they can go from that. And for the likes of Serdang, especially in 9th, and Bangsa Hawks are right at the bottom, then it is now a different exercise. It's not about winning the league. It's about getting the best performances out of your players, finding the best partnerships, and possibly making a strike for winning the whole thing next season. But for this season, making the top 8 of the Champions Challenge, and that is still a reasonable target for at the bottom. As usual, Sports Arena Sentosa has seen a healthy following. It's come down every single match day. It's been 16 of these days of badminton. I'm not going to call them match days because every match day has 3 days within it when all the 12 clubs play each other. So it's been 16 days of action since November 25th. That all started with Petaling Jaya taking on Petaling. And then the weekend ties with 3 ties on Saturday and Sunday, they started turning up as well. And we're getting pretty close now, as I said, on day 16, round 6. And with tomorrow's games, which I'll also be here for, I'm sure Donald will as well, then we will see all the teams in the table playing their 6 matches. There'll be another break of a day before the weekend sees match day 7. All of this action, of course, live and exclusive on Astro Supersport channels 816 and 834. And catch up with the weekly news. Sharon Wee was in the commentary box yesterday with me. There's a weekly TV, first weekly Rackets TV review in Malaysia called Racket on Astro Arena. And of course the website www.purpleleague.com for all details, info and results. Meanwhile, in the third game, Tan has
Tan's gone ahead
lovely
here. He took a half chance to smash down the line. And that particular drop shot was better because it made Hafiz stretch. A lot of his drops in the previous game were quite long, and Hafiz was only taking a half step, so it was quite easy for him to defend. But
well, a half step for him is essentially
exactly.
half court. Yeah.
So, but that was tighter. So again,
wow,
see,
again, he goes for the disguise drop. Yeah,
tighter. And it's more difficult for Hafiz to deal with.
That's it.
But that's gone in.
Again, this court we've heard already is new, of course. It's taken a year to put this entire tournament together, but this court, whether it's purple or whether it's the advertising boards, like any court around the world, a lot of people are getting used to judging the lines as to what's in and out. No Hawkeye, of course, has so far only been seen at the Thomas Cup, but it was such a success in Delhi, and I was there for it, that I think we'll be seeing that filtering down into other tournaments as well.
Again, a better passage of play from Tan. He's tighter on the drop, and it worked an opening, just a half chance, and he converted the cross-court smash.
So a better performance here, and good to see that he can raise through gears. Oh well, that was the first smash proper that we saw him put into his game. Three all. A great drop. Another great drop. Oh, it's a shame that was turning into quite a rally. Hafiz, being the more experienced player, knowing how to use his opponent's game against him, has kept his unforced errors down to 5, which is still at international class. And meanwhile, Tanjo Ways has gone up to 10, which is still good. Oh, what a shot.
Yes, lovely, lovely. Dan looked
The
tired,
angle.
16-year-old.
The angle of it,
Finding it hard work.
the trajectory of it, look at that.
It's just Tan's attacks were just battered back really by Hafiz. Strong wrist, giving it back with interest, and
He's
Tan breathing heavily, having to catch up. And
Hafiz, as always, cool, calm, and composed.
Oh.
Now returning behind his back.
Yes.
That wasn't a reflex, that was literally. And there's another error. So 11-5, and obviously we've seen this happen with the younger players that kind of rope in their game. I think we said it before, it's about leaking games away when you think you're winning and you're actually dropping so many points. And we found that the more advanced players know when to go into fourth gear and fifth gear, and they know when to pull back to first and second. Still, he's keeping pace here. Ong Yi-hok is animated as always.
he's giving some instructions, looking like try and
That's that universal.
jab him a bit more. Yeah,
The universal instruction of, you know,
hit it.
push the racket forward is what we can get from up here.
Very easy game. Hit it.
Don't forget the racket. Well
Well
he's wanted
defended
to
by
kill that
Tan.
off early, and yes.
Oh, nice net shot. We haven't seen too many net attacks from Tan in this game. But there again,
Well defended.
he gave it all. He gave it his all. It's just everything that Tan is throwing at Hafiz is just being bouncing off or being batted back, or not really causing Hafiz any trouble at the moment.
Some of the 41 points that have now been played in the 3 games. Hafiz Hashim on 6 unforced errors. That is very good. That's the kind of watertight game that we're talking about, that you can use as a platform to then highlight your smash or whatever it is that's the centerpiece of your game. The important thing is you don't want to sit in a leaky boat. Hafiz has definitely done that. That's actually one of the better unforced errors totals that we've seen this week. closes in on the match. Time is at 12 or 13 unforced errors now. And that's what we've usually seen. So a good performance from Hafiz Hashim to lead off his team. The first match of this tie between Serdang and Cheras.
So it's over 6.
Still a chance for Tan here. He's had some nice deceptive drop shots. We saw one down the line earlier in the match, and that was cross court this time.
Yes, definitely his forecourt game has been his shining point right now. He's done his best on the other games as well. It's just his opponent's just better at those. Oh, double fake. Well, the shuttle's getting high up. And that's out. Difficult game when you play Hafiz Hashim.
9-6.
Imposing figure, but on top of that, you have to literally play all of your long shots, your clears and your lifts perfectly. If not, he's going to smash them down or they'll be out.
Yeah, he can wheel round and get behind the shuttle quite effectively. Very powerful attack.
You just saw that, he was just hustling back, quite ready to take whatever attack Tan was going to give him. Again, returned. Taste of your own medicine.
Service over 7-9.
So a worthy point for Tan Jie Wei in that little exchange.
Yeah, definitely deserved.
He's certainly giving his all.
Now, as you may have heard, and I'm sure if you're watching now that you have at least watched a couple of these match days beforehand, every point counts, yes, and every game counts in this new league system. The games are what determine your league position. Amount you've won, amount you've lost, and the average between those, the difference between those. But in the event of a tie at the end of the regular season, to decide who is going to be in those top 8 positions for the Champions Challenge, then points, every single point that was scored will be totted up. And in the event of that being tied, I'll tell you now, that's highly improbable. Then I think it's head-to-head, which you can't really dispute. So the game ended on a soft note for Tan Jie Wei.
I think in general that is characteristic of the match. Unfortunately, Tan Jie Wei, this game was not able to trouble Hafiz. There was periods when he played some tighter shots, more attacking shots, and Hafiz was put under pressure, but overall couldn't really hurt Hafiz and made it rather easy for him in the end.
Just under half an hour it took for Hafiz Hashim, 24 minutes, there you go. 11-7, 11-3, 11-7, 3 points clear for Cheras from the first match. And I think we're about ready to get on court and hear from Hafiz Hashim as to his performance today.
All right, we're down here with Hafiz, who just picked up a 3-0 win, 3-love win. Happy with your performance, or were there anything that you would like to improve on?
Yeah, actually, in the first easy match today, so I think it's probably good for me because of I can win easy. So actually, I know that young players will give fight when the game was in the third games. Yeah, so normally I have to be more focused on the third. Yeah, so yeah, it's good for me. I can win 3-love.
Is that the strategy today? Because I spoke to Rezal just now. Because you guys need to push up closer to top 4. Is it that every match now for this tie must try to win 3-0?
Yeah, we must to catch up to every set. So we have to win for now because we are losing the sets too much. So sometimes we won the games, but the set is close. So for match today, we should win 3-love every single match.
That's a lot to think about, but congratulations, Muhammad Hafiz Hashim. Back to you in the Ivory Court commentary box.
Brilliant words from Hafiz Hashim. The things that they expect. And as we look at the highlights of that match, he knew that Tan Jie Wei was going to be coming back in the third. He knew that being a young seed, he'd have some fight, but he was also happy that it was an easy enough game for him. And more importantly for his club, the term was we've been losing sets. Well, it's not just about sets, it's about points. I can tell you 50 points were played in that first match, and just 7 of them were unforced errors from Hafiz Hashim. Very solid indeed, and the exact gift he wanted to give to Cheras. Now, when he said that obviously in the short term to catch up with everybody else, they're going to be looking for 3-love, then he meant that they're going to have to play like this. And this is a great example of exactly how you move your opponent around the court. And
Yes.
he's totally in control.
Great technique from Hafiz, just pushing his player to the left of the court every time, the backhand,
It's just like almost serving up, just a little.
until he kills
Yeah.
on the right.
Kind of, yeah,
Look
that's
at
right.
that. Isn't that a masterclass in how to draw your opponent in,
Absolutely.
sucker them onto one side of
Absolutely.
the court, and then just kill them on the right hand side?
Confirmation of that, 7 unforced errors, more smashes than errors, 9 of them, plus dominance at the net and long serves as well. So essentially the complete game brought out by Hafiz Hashim, and even though it was a good shout, especially at the net, his youth, I suppose, and just not having, well, the extra experience really meant that he was very easily pushed around. But this is going to be the interesting match. This is the match that I was talking about. Go Jinwei in action again. Go Jinwei, very young, came out on Sunday and played Birenta Karapadevan 3-0 straight up. And that was 11-4, 11-4, 11-4. It was an absolutely incredible performance by Go Jinwei, who's been touted by Ong Yu-Hok as being one of the next best. These are one of the names. This girl here that the Kopiko Purple League is showcasing and highlighting, because literally the future of Malaysian badminton could be resting on shoulders like hers. And that was the standard and quality of the performance she put in against Donald, a much lower ranked opponent. And we'll get to that matchup she's got now after we hear from the managers. We're on court with JD.
All right, down here with the team managers once again before the start of this next match. First up with Ong Yu-Hok, team manager for Serdang BC. Jinwei won her match against the other day against Petaling, but it's a slightly different match today. So what's the strategy today against a player who has won all her matches already?
I think he will be is our junior players. So according to, he also quite in top form now. I think we should be a good fight, and hopefully she can win. Yeah.
So a good fight with a win.
Yeah. This is the point that we are counting her. Yeah.
I like that. Thank you so much, Ong Yu-Hok. Now over to Rizal Hussein, who's the boss of Cheras BC. The thing is, you're back with Febi today. You've had great success with her in the past, but why her and not Sarita?
Sarita is off to the Granola Challenge. That's one reason. But of course, I don't have much choices for women's singles. But I think she'll be a better bet today.
Thank you very much, managers. Back to you in the Ivor Court commentary box.
Well, I think you'd have to say that it's a pretty clear reason if she's at a different tournament that's probably why he didn't go with her, I would have thought. And straight up, Rizal just admitting that the choices are limited when it comes down to it. Febi Angguni, still though, classic Indonesian women's singles player. Long game, lots of lifts, lots of clears, lots of baseline play.
Yes, yes.
And that's what is going to be the test for Go Jinwei, as we said, her opponent, who she absolutely demolished, 11-4, 11-4, 11-4 on Sunday. And look at that age. She's 14
14.
years old.
You think there's a...
She's 14
You
years
think there's
old.
an error in the,
Well,
in the statistics?
I'm just saying it's 11-4, 11-4, 11-4, and she's 14. It's kind of strange like that. Anyway.
But really, the Purple League is almost
about this,
ageless. I mean, it's we see the older players mixing it with the younger players. What really stands out is some of the quality in the younger players.
Well, Ong Yu-Hok, of course, has stamped his approval on her. That's Stephen Ong in the umpire chair, Wong Yin-zi in the service judge area. Now, the question is, of course, we have unearthed this talent here at the Kopiko Purple League, but this is her first test. If she is going to be the next generation, you're going to have to get past Indonesian women's singles players like Febi Angguni.
Febi, where Birenta was also a young plaung played some, I would say,
errors.
naive shots. Febi will be very precise
Febi's
in her
extremely
controlling game, so this will be a real test for young Go Jinwei.
So now Indonesian women's badminton, they have no problems playing 20, 30 shot rallies until they find the advantage they need. Exactly like that. Just drop and then lift and drop and lift. And that is what this 14-year-old Go Jinwei, who really is a bit of a star, has to deal with immediately. Though, look at that drop.
Go Jinwei just looks so comfortable on the court. It really stands out. It's the technique in the forearm and the wrist for me, which is excellent. And obviously a young player.
Yeah, look at that.
When she has that power in that arm.
Errant. Now hopefully, being 14, she doesn't get overawed by it, but she wasn't in her last match with all the lights and the cameras. Oh, great drop. Well,
2-1.
There's a point to her. Not really much you could read into it. It was Donald, these are great shots that she's playing.
Just admiring,
just
yeah.
Really amazing
there
shots.
Was an overhead shot. It's gone long.
Just the long, but the rest. I mean,
there was one overhead shot there that just looked like it was going to be a lob, and it just drifted into a drop from Go Jinwei. So easy, such an easy style, and it's very deceptive when you see that. These top players will make the game look easy, but I can assure you it is not.
Well,
there's a
so
lot of
far,
training goes into their preparation.
4 points played and 4 errors.
3-2.
2 to each player, 2 to each player in points and errors. But that's a bit harsh because it has been a good quality game so far. And those errors haven't been by much. A great shot there.
4-2.
Well, this is, of course, what Feby will do. She will really play you out and stretch out these points.
This Feby doesn't just attack at will. She will control, and look for the opening before committing.
Exactly.
It's one strategy in badminton.
5-2.
And of course, the player that she's replacing today, Sarita, is more or less the complete opposite.
Yeah.
A very attacking game she is playing.
Now, the unforced error total, I said, is going up, and we just saw a little bit of dissatisfaction on Go Jinwei's face. And these are the challenges that she's going to have to face in this match. This was the exact test in her development as a player, is to deal with games that don't go your way. To see how you can switch things up. And she's shown from her shot making that she can definitely switch things up. It's just the, I suppose, the practice of it, the experience, the rhythm of it.
A little bit of frustration in the body language from Go Jinwei.
Early, yeah.
And
7-2
a player
down.
like Feby can bring that into you, make you frustrated, force your mistakes. Makes the error that time.
3-7.
Well, look, Donald, I'm going to come out and say it. She might be 7-3 down. I'm a huge fan already. And she's already done enough with the shots she's played here to make me think that she really is something for the future.
8-3.
Everyone would love the upset. Everyone would love the headlines. But the statistics hardly ever lie. People, sportswomen, sportsmen are meant to peak at a certain time. Right now, that's where I put Go Jinwei, somewhere in the future. But let's see what she can do here. Still, first game not out of reach, playing this point very well. Just out again. It's only 3 or 4 inches every time.
This first game not going Go Jinwei's way.
Well, Brenta, as I said on Sunday, was not playing the shots that Feby currently is against her. Ones that are forcing her into playing the best shot she can every time. She had a lot of space and time on Sunday.
Yes, and the difference, I think, is Feby is hitting the shuttle much flatter, giving less time for Jinwei to get underneath it against Barenta.
Yep.
Barenta's defensive shots were quite high and almost looping.
First game,
And she had plenty of time to get under the shuttle and use that
Yeah.
technique of hers.
And look how amazingly aware of the court Febby was there. Wasn't by that much. Just left it. But she plays pretty much her entire game on that line. Or just with one lunge, it's one and a half lunge. I'll just get to the net for a quick drop. So the first game in 5 minutes, 11-3. Still some good showing from the 14-year-old Go Jinwei, but more experienced Febby Angudi. Why she's been put in ties like this. It's why these import stars have come to the Kopiko Purple League in Malaysia to teach youngsters not a lesson, though they will, but to teach them the finer points of the game, the things that will win them accolades in the future. And we already, after these 6 match days, and we're halfway through match day 6 now, have seen the things that young players do, and the things that experienced players do. And it's been a really interesting matchup for all these fans that have turned up at the Sports Arena Sentosa to watch this trade-off. Doesn't happen anywhere else in the badminton world.
Play. Third.
Great drop shot. It's the kind of shot that would trouble 60–70% of the players in the world.
Yeah, it's a good return from it. Cross drop from Go Jinwei.
What she's going to have to learn to deal with is delivering her best game while thinking about score lines like this. 1 down, 2 love down. Oh, just snatched at that one. That's one of the things we've seen the younger players do.
On New Hawk in the corner.
He was hoping, he did say he was hoping for a win beforehand, but he knows also that the best and the only way you're going to get the true potential out of any player is to put them in situations like this. So you got to take the rough with the smooth in the end.
Good save from Go
doing
Jinwei.
well enough here. And she had Febby stretch there.
And there, yes,
Only
on the
she
attack
had,
now.
yeah.
Oh, Febby's still under pressure.
She had a smash here in the
Coming
middle of
back.
this.
A good save.
Look, checked it out. There's the disguise drop.
Great
That's
shot.
what Go Jinwei can do. That was a very good example of the kind of point that she played. So obviously she did it quicker against Barenta on Sunday, but that was...
Febby a little bit frustrated there because she was outplayed in that rally in the end.
Yeah, she took control of that.
And
finished it nicely.
How can you tell a 14-year-old to have patience? But that's exactly what Go Jinwei was able to show there, and that was a big difference from the snatching returns of the previous rallies.
Yeah, for all we know, she might be thinking about her homework. It is a school night, after all. Still lots of work to do when she gets back. In the meantime, you have to say when you see a move and take the shots that naturally gifted badminton players, this would probably look like a pretty good example. Out. Just out.
5-1.
Too close for her.
A little bit of frustration creeping in, but no reason at this stage. I mean, she's 1 love down in the games, but it's early to say that the match is lost, so
yeah,
she's
but
probably not happy with her own game at the moment.
In the same way, while we can see the potential of her game to do stuff right now, the divide between where she is and where she should be is being shown by Febby. And Febby is basically consistency of shot, a specific level of shot, type of shot, and getting out with that certain regularity. We saw Hafiz Hashim doing it in the first match as well when he needed to up the tempo of rallies. 3 out of the 5 next shots he'd play would have a little bit of sting on them, and a bit more just to push those angles. And what Febi's doing is she's just keeping it about 60-70% shot every single time, and that's slowly adding up. And she knows that her opponent's 14 and therefore has a lot less control over her mind when it comes to matches.
It's quite an astonishing unforced error count. 14 from Go Junwei and 3 from Febi Anguni.
Well, that's the control, as I said, and she has, you know, we've seen the points. They've been good points. A lot of them have been defended really well, and a lot of them have been just a few inches off the line, but they have all been falling to Go Junwei because Febi's been doing exactly this, just pushing around. There's that one point where she started doing this, which is pushing Febi around.
Great net exchanges there.
Can she kill this one off with another disguised drop, I wonder?
Service 7-2.
They have been. The points have been a lot closer than a 14-4. But credit to Febi. Yes, that stat does hold either way. She's in the middle of her second game now. 4 errors made so far. We saw 7 made only out of 50 points in the first match. Good performances at the Sports Arena Sentosa. No matter what your ranking is.
It's gonna go out.
It's gone out, but
Service over 3-7.
it's a different body language we're seeing from Go Junwei. I remember commenting on Sunday about how calm she was. Now, a little bit edgy.
4-7.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Go. Much bigger players waiting for you in your career. There's no discredit to Febi Anguni either.
Service over.
Just losing that
Focus
point
a little bit,
was
yeah.
a key point, I think, in the match. Even just for Go Junwei to get some points on this game, she needs to have that in order to give herself some confidence in the last game. But this is a long way back. Even at 8-4,
Well, it's still more points
Go
than her first
Junwei
game.
has been making more mistakes than her opponent. Again, you see,
9.
Now
and
they're
that's
creeping
been
in.
the difference between the two players so far. Febi just
Absolutely.
really steady, experienced, putting the shuttle in the right place.
And that's it. Yeah, it doesn't have to do much else.
Go
The
Junwei.
opportunities have been opening up for her just by playing the 4 points of the corner. She tried something, well, quite spectacular there.
Service over.
Didn't pay off.
5-9.
And look at that unforced error count. Well, it's a lesson. We will see over the next few weeks whether Go Junwei will learn this lesson.
Service over.
And the only way she can really combat this, I would have thought, is to
Point
start
5.
hustling and upsetting the tempo of the point, that she hasn't done. Well, now, these errors are different from the ones she was making in the first game. Definitely the toll of points has been taking effect on her. A lot more wayward now, a little bit more lost. But in just 13 minutes, 11-3, 11-5. And that target of 3 love victories every time still alive. For Cheras, currently 5-0 up in this tie. Well, Ong Yu-Hok looks confident enough in what he's saying that you can see exactly the problem. But it's going to be a big ask indeed for her to come back and take this to 5. But she has got the shot making.
20 seconds. 20.
But you can just see there the faith that Ong Yu-Hok has in her. And he's a legend. Knows exactly what he's talking about. So, game 3.
Third game, level, play.